This is Tristan, the bow tie toy guy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's episode of my toy and doll hunting series, we are visiting Friendship Flea Market in Friendship, Indiana. This is a large indoor-outdoor flea market that happens twice a year. I grew up in the 80s and 90s going to this flea market every single year with my mom and dad, at least once, often twice. So I'm excited to check it out on my channel for the first time. I will walk around and film any vendors that have toys, dolls, or non-sport trading cards for sale. And then at the end, back here in my toy room, I will show you anything I potentially pick up. Spoiler alert, I do find some cool stuff, so stay tuned for the end of the video. And I am in a different outfit at the end because I didn't have time to film the intro the day of. Let's get started. One of the really charming things about Friendship Flea Market is you can take essentially a horse-drawn carriage from one part of the flea market to the other. This was neat to see. When I was a kid in the 80s and 90s, these collector traveling cases to put your figures in were very common. Of course, trust me at any flea market to be able to spot all of the mint in box Barbies. There were a lot of vendors at this particular flea market that were selling die-cast cars, Matchbox, Hot Wheels, etc. If you were a collector of those, this would have been a great flea market to be at. I don't collect them as an adult, but I did have a ton of Hot Wheels when I was a kid.
Let me see if that was complete.
The really fun thing about Friendship Flea Market is the variety. I loved seeing all of these classic blow mold Christmas decorations. When have you ever seen an orange suit Santa? It was a really beautiful day to be out at the flea market. It was extremely hot, but you never know what you're going to find. This booth was really interesting. These are all handmade light switch plates in different configurations. A little bit of everything. Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. He had some Sanrio Hello Kitty, horror movies like Psycho. I wasn't expecting to see this at the flea market. There was a vendor set up with overstock brand new toys like WWE figures, Jurassic World, essentially stuff that you would find at a place like Ollie's Bargain Outlet. Now we're getting to the good stuff. Classic, vintage, Mattel Disney dolls. I was very excited to see these. There were surprisingly a decent amount of vendors with Funko Pop vinyl figures. That's starting to become a thing at flea markets that I see regularly, and this guy particularly had a good variety. By the way, if you hear a popping noise throughout this video in the background, there's actually a muzzle loading shooting range right next to this flea market, so that's what you're hearing. This box that we're coming up on had a really interesting variety in it. I don't recognize the lettering on this Cabbage Patch Kids box. Is that Japanese? Please let me know in the comments down below if you recognize it. There were some mint in box Barbies. There's Victorian Elegance Barbie. And then this is neat. It'll take me a second to move the stuff around to get to it. But there were some vintage 90s Playmates Darkwing Duck figures. I found another vendor with mint in box dolls. She had some Barbies, a clone doll, Disney dolls, and the necklaces that are hanging off of the boxes were all handmade by her to match the colors and the design of the dolls themselves. This particular vendor told me this is her last time setting up at the flea market, and she had a porcelain vintage Cabbage Patch Kids doll. Spoiler alert, I didn't get it, but it was cool to see. I actually brought my mom and dad to the flea market. They're off camera. My dad really enjoyed seeing this. It's an artisan that makes statues out of wood, and several of them that he had finished for sale were really beautiful. This is something I'm starting to find regularly at flea markets, toy shows, 3D printed custom toys.
Walk in the store, might need to get one.
This plate and bowl set depicting Goldilocks and the three little bears was super cute. This was super cool to see. I shared it at the beginning of the video quickly in the coming up section. It's vintage Barbie blow-up furniture, and it was all in really great condition. I am back from attending the flea market. I had a really good time. It was surprising in terms of the things that I found. We'll start with the non-sport trading cards. I didn't get it on film because it was in a precarious location, but there was a vendor that was literally selling like tools and car parts. But at the very back, he had a large box of vintage sealed foil packs of trading cards from the 1990s. He had both sports and non-sport. So I picked out a few packs. I found a singular pack of VR Troopers puzzle cards, which was super exciting. I found a singular pack of Plasm Zero Issue trading cards by Defiant. And then I found 4 packs of the Disney's Pocahontas Skybox trading cards. So I'm going to open all of these and add them into my miscellaneous albums. On the way to the flea market, there were 7 or 8 different yard sales that I drove past, and I decided to stop at one of them. I didn't film because it was in somebody's front yard, and I always feel weird about doing that. You know, God bless people like Froggy Flips who film yard sales and garage sales, but it makes me a little bit nervous. She had a Minton Box 1998 vintage Barbie. The box is in terrible condition, but I'm going to open her and display her loose. It is the 50th anniversary NASCAR Barbie, and I really liked her racing suit and the fact that she comes with a cap as well as a racing helmet. I don't normally collect a lot of the career Barbies, but I liked her racing suit, and she was only $5. So I picked her up to add to my collection. And then at the flea market itself, I found also from the 90s, specifically from 1997, I found a 2-pack of the Disney's Mulan Hearts of Honor Mulan and Shang dolls. Absolutely beautiful dolls. I love their costumes. I'm going to open these and display them loose as well because the box is not in great condition. They wanted 30 and I talked them down to 25. I just think they're really beautiful dolls. And that's everything I found. I had a really great time. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel to check out future toy hunts and have a great day.